have to show, we don't really know. What you have to show, we don't really know. Sorry, Trinidad and Tobago, but Rowley really have to go. Oh, so Rowley really have to go. Oh, so Rowley really have to go. The crime rate is out of hand, they're shooting up we blessed land. We need more protection, it's time to take some action. We living in fear, it's too much to bear. We living in fear, it's too much to bear. And the PNM don't really care, Rowley really have to go. Oh, so Rowley really have to go. Oh, so Rowley really have to go. Since you take over as Prime Minister, it's plenty pressure. We have to suffer, and you will do nothing better. Rowley really have to go. Oh, so Rowley really, oh, Rowley really have to go. Since you come in power, you is a big failure. Collapse the economy and it do nothing for we. What you have to show, we don't really know. What you have to show, we don't really know. Sorry, Trinidad and Tobago, but Rowley really have to go. Oh, so Rowley really have to go. Oh, so Rowley really have to go. The crime rate is out of hand, they're shooting up we blessed land. We need more protection, it's time to take some action.
Yes, indeed, of course, once again, yes, for the second time for the night, tenacity, of course, determination, grit, and the ability, of course, to stick to the script will always produce a success. And so, of course, for a second occasion, we are here. But let me get straight, of course, and let me say one time, call in. The lines, the line is open, 337-6940. I'm going to take your calls, but of course, we have to deal with some issues that otherwise will be placed or left on the back burner, so to speak, or will find its place in the on the back burner. But of course, we need to address contemporary scenarios because, as we have established, anything Rowley speaks of purporting to be to the benefit of the country, there's always something sinister in it. And of course, property tax, he never catered for. He thought that he could have, of course, said so, and leading up to the climax, where, of course, he believed that his mission would have been accomplished. Well, we hit him. The population hit him. The opposition hit him. An anti-climax scenario, which, of course, he fell ill about and over, and in spite of his presence, calling people hypocrite, that hypocrite calling others hypocrite. Well, I want to tell Rowley, it takes a hypocrite to know a hypocrite to call a hypocrite a hypocrite. Understand that? And of course, in his particular case, he's always wrong. Good people are characterized and, of course, would be maligned by Rowley simply because they know him, they can mold him, they can clone him, and so he doesn't like that. And as a consequence, he goes, of course, mad. And of course, as the Greek would say, who the gods wish to destroy, they first send them mad. Oh, what a tangle web we weave when we first set out to deceive, Rowley. But let's go straight, of course.
2008 was the year when our country earned the most money in the history of this country.
But here's what Keith Rowley had to say in Parliament about the same property tax back in 2009. As reported in the Hansard of the Parliament, Keith Rowley said, "In my own constituency, there is anger, anxiety and resentment at both ends of the spectrum. They have brought the tax at the worst possible time, alluding to tough economic times."
2008 was the year when our country earned the most money in the history of this country.
So comparing what transpired then as to now in terms of 2008, as Rowley would have said, yes, he's correct, then it means, therefore, that it has to be the evil characteristics, the evil agenda of Rowley, being a man who is clearly Luciferian and satanic, coming out of COVID, because when it is convenient, he talks about COVID and say that he forego potholes in order to save us, when in fact over 5,000 lives were lost because of his reckless behavior. The man is a murderer. The man can be considered to be, as we have noted and taken it, of course, to the International Criminal Court. He was engaged in geronticide, whether advertently or inadvertently, but because of his callous and inhumane disposition, a person like that, you cannot give them the benefit of the doubt. So therefore, he's a blasted murderer. Let's go straight to the lines. Let's go straight to the lines indeed. Trying to get to the lines. All right, I've not seen it there, so I'm going to take it here. I'm going to take it here. Pleasant, sorry, let me just get that. Pleasant, good night. I'm not seeing it showing up on the system, so I'll take it here. Go ahead. Pleasant, good night.
Pleasant, good night, Mr. Lennox.
Yes.
Right. I just want to ask I want to tell the listeners,
yes,
that what kind of leader implementing a tax, and if you can't pay it, you will lose your house and land. What kind of leader does do the people that? What kind of person is that will create a tax to take away the people thing if they can't pay for it? That is somebody who's not human. That is some kind of demon or something. Because when I really study it, you're creating a tax with taxes. You all have to pay taxes at some point in time. And we paying a lot in Trinidad and Tobago so far, because I want to know other ways of bringing in revenue into this country. So all they're seeing is the average citizen, let me tax them to death. And then you create a tax we call property tax now, and if we can't pay, property will go. That's so inhumane, and people who supporting this property tax have to be non-functionable within their head, because a leader create a tax we, and if we can't pay it, take we property. And when they take we property, we have somebody like a land shark, as they call them, the 1%, they take to purchase the property as we can't pay for it. And we're under pressure because it's mismanagement for 9 years, going into 10. 9 years is mismanagement. So the country, unemployment, high, foodstuff, out the door. And then implementing this tax away. They will kill we. So I say, just as the opposition, no property tax. And if they want to discontinue this property tax, then put your X by the rising sun. And we have no property tax to pay, because we already paid property tax, because gas raised 6 times, nobody in riot, Petrogen closed down, and the list continues. And you hear the man say, one more thing before I go, you hear the man say, he willing to lose, he don't care if he lost the election. He have to do what is right for the country, right? You know why he talking that now? Because he done spend 10 years, or he done spend 9 years going on 10 in office. he done fix his business, he done fix his friends' business, he done fix his family business. So even if he lost, he still win. But according to you, Lennox, he only win for a short time because we have handcuffs and we have police officers will visit him. Because when we get in there and we see what is going on, they have to be called to claim and tell we all the wrongdoing, how these building bill, we all get money to build this monstrous called Bali's out, we all get that money, we get money to do all these things. Jail, according to you, Mr. Lennox, prison. So I say I had to make that contribution.
Yes.
And before I go, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, any leader that we have that implementing any tax to make we loss we property where they didn't help we get or help we build, we must remove them from office. And I'm saying this last thing before I go. We must isolate him. We must support nothing he bring until he come out of office. Mr. Lennox, have a good night.
Same to you, my friend. Magnificent. Marvelous contribution. Of course, I just want to also, of course, I just want to make an argument with respect, of course. Let me see if it's coming up on the system. I'm not seeing it on the system. Like I have to use my phone tonight, boy. Let me see. Why am I not getting my phone operational tonight? All right. Let me see. All right. Let me go straight to the phone. Oh, all right. Sorry about that. Call back. I'm not seeing it coming up on the system, but I am prepared to use my phone as an alternative. I had to improvise. We have to communicate. We have to talk. We have to be able to express our individual and collective concerns. Let's continue. Of course, all I want to say is that is grandstanding. Try to use reverse psychology. No, Rowley, we know that you desperately want to stay there because you have to prevent the inevitable investigators from investigating you and your entire cabinet, both kitchen and the regular cabinet. We know that. So that psychology will not work. Yes, we want to get your ass out of office. That is what we want to do. And then, of course, let the chips fall where they may, including, of course, criminal and civil action against you. You really believe he want to give way to Kamala, having regard to the fact that he will blame Kamala for a dribble? Come on, let's go straight, of course, to the lights. All right, good. I think we are on the system itself now. Pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Hello. Yes, good night. Lennox, are you hearing me clearly?
Yes. I want to say, nice. I want to say this to the criminal dictator. We not paying no property.
And we ain't afraid yet.
I know sure I ain't afraid him. Right? Lennox, the time when they had the procurement legislation, when they had the debate.
Yes.
Right? When they went in the house all before, we went there with placard in the height of COVID.
Yes.
Eh? What happened to why we can't go with placard? They're afraid. They're listening to all what's going on the ground reporting on this program. So they come out now to say 2%. That ain't making sense. They don't understand we don't want to pay no property tax. We're not paying. And people shouldn't even be paying for water. We're not getting any water. Right? I know I don't pay. And when I'm paying light bill, I'm paying it very slow. I'm giving them a little thing and I'm holding on. Right? We shouldn't be paying no bill. We have to get them pressure, the pressure and we. I don't see why people run all before and pay this thing to put me in this position all now. When I'm saying don't pay, people that say I sound like a badge and eyes this, eyes that. But people show something and they keep saying we must get together. We fighting all on the ground, report all this kind of thing. It ain't looking good. If the UNC fighting, we mustn't fight. Everybody can't be fighting, so we have to come to some kind of agreement. And that will bring togetherness, not this one saying, I'm going to pay my property tax loud on the air. Because why? I don't want to lose my property. No, he can't take people property just so. It is so. He have a whole country to deal with. He feel he will get away. Eh? You touch one, you touch all, right? So we ain't supposed to afraid, and we supposed to go out there and stand up for our rights. I'm not going anywhere with anybody who coward as a leader who can tell the followers, let's go, because a man willing to get busted. I listening, you know. I listening. They say they're willing to get busted. Who I care if they get locked up? I know I am afraid that, right? I am afraid that. Both the protest
Yes, yes.
with that procurement legislation
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes.
right there. If we didn't get, if only they get to go in the square, it would have been worries for them in that parliament, because they went there that day in the parliament. It would have been real worries for them, Lennox.
Yes, yes,
Hey,
yes.
this man is a mafia man, you know.
Of
1
course.
minute if they have money, he need money. Next minute money coming. I tell you, he in a brotherhood. He in that brotherhood with them other mafia men in them other countries. And they just be taking up with money here, mostly our money, because why? Our money have more strength than theirs, right? And then when they're ready to pay, we back is a exchange. Is oil, is gas. Mr. Abud say something about helping with energy too. But I can't put my hand on that part, but I'm going to find out.
Good.
Right? So I hear I to get, if it's 3 people, I have to talk certain things to pull in the others. Let's see if they will do it. There's no time for stupidness right now.
Yes, indeed.
So, Leonard, thanks for taking my call, and you have a good night.
Same to you, same to you. And I want to say categorically that on the corridor transformation, we will have a separate plan from that of the ground report, even though I struggle both entities. But in terms of absolute control, the corridor transformation is my effort, and therefore I will, of course, do my part, separate and apart from any other entity, whether it's the ground report, whether it's Victor, whether, of course, in your support. We have a big place. We have a strategic location on George Street in Port of Spain. I cannot see why in the heart of the PNM, what I consider to be solar plexus. Yes, in the solar plexus, we cannot, of course, delve a dangerous blow, and of course, out their light, preferably permanently. Are talking politically here. So during the course of the next couple of months or so, you will be hearing more about it, and we will assemble and we will do what we have to do in order to make certain that we generate the hot 12 months of 2024. I have no doubt about it. And of course, he's attempted to try to say that he is not interested in being prime minister. No, he never had it better. Never had it better. And the only reason why he is talking so is because he knows that it will be taken from him. And therefore he is in a state of cognitive dissonance. He's saying, all right, all you don't want me, well, all it wasn't good anyway. Something like the fox and the grapes. He said the grapes sour when he couldn't get it. Well, that is Rowley. So do not be perturbed one moment and do not believe in this man. He's a total liar, a miscreant, a rapist, and a pedophile, and a criminal of extra. Yes, indeed, people. Must see him for what he is. Don't take it to see.
I know a lot of people for whom $100 is a lot of money. A lot are struggling to make ends meet. said Rowley.
2008 was the year when our country earned the most money in the history of this country.
Rowley also chastised the PNM for asking people to pay property tax while his own constituents could not even get water in their taps. Any hike in such water rates under the property tax, Rowley said, would now amount to provocation. If you try to defend the indefensible, you will create resentment and provoke people. And that is what we have at the moment, said Rowley back in 2009.
2008 was the year when our country earned the most money in the history of this country.
But now, by implementing the property tax, Prime Minister Keith Rowley is defending the indefensible.
2008 was the year when our country earned the most money in the history of this country.
Live from the Hyatt Regency Hotel, the People's National Movement to
Dreaded property tax. The dreaded property tax. Anybody telling the population that this PNM coming into office will bring back that tax is the highest level of dishonesty.
Speaking in the Parliament during the second reading of the Property Tax Amendment Bill 2024, Finance Minister Colin Imbert said the bill intends to improve people's lives.
This bill before the House today is designed to assist people. It is designed to soften the impact of property tax. It is designed to give people more access to challenging evaluation, and it is simply designed to help people.
Minister Imbert acknowledged the confusion expressed by some members of the public regarding the assessment of properties and sought to clear up any misconceptions during his contribution to the debate. He also noted among the clauses within the amended bill includes the deferral from paying property taxes for a specific group of persons, noting that the application for this deferral is now active.
One of the things we are doing, I have published the form that allows indigent, elderly, infirm people, people on fixed incomes, pensioners, recipients of social grants, etc. I have published the form for them to make the application for deferral of the tax.
However, opposition leader and member of parliament for Siparia, Kamla Prasad Bisesa, maintained that the property tax amendment bill is not what is needed in the country at this time. She argued that instead of empowering citizens, it is set to make persons poorer.
All the people who worked in the government service, those with the minimum wage, take out of their pockets in a time of very severe financial hardship and recession. It should have been, you know what government should have done? The government should have done today what it should have done years ago, which was to bring a bill to repeal the Property Tax Act.
Minister of Rural Development and Local Government Faris Al-Rawi, in an immediate rebuttal, explained that his ministry is on an aggressive...
PNM, the right choice for higher taxes.
Compared to other countries, the property tax rate in Trinidad and Tobago is high. The average property tax rate in the world is around 1% of the annual rental value of a property. In Trinidad and Tobago, the property tax rate is 3% of the annual rental value of a property. This means that if you own a property that is worth $100,000, you will pay $3,000 in property taxes each year.
Have you lost your job, struggling to pay your bills, can't find enough money to support your family? Then have no fear. The PNM has plans to raise higher taxes. Yes, under the PNM there will be higher property taxes, higher online taxes, higher taxes for small businesses, higher personal taxes, higher taxes on anything and everything. PNM, the right choice for higher taxes.
Yes, people, I thought it was important to introduce or to interject that into the discussion. But I think we should go beyond our personal or domestic horizon and look at the situation internationally. You will be surprised that the Trinidad and Tobago has the highest, when it was 3%, now 2%, still one of the highest property tax as far as the rental value, the annual rental value of properties are concerned, and on that basis that that tax is being calculated, as is the case today. You will be surprised. You will be surprised. Most of those in the Caribbean, for example, is below 1%. Below 1%. You're moving from 3 to 2%. And you cannot tell us how you arrive at that calculation, how you know what is the rental value of a home in any part of the country, how you arrive at that, and how in the same community you have two drastically different rates, even though they are in close proximity to each other, the properties I'm talking about. These fellas are compound asses. They attempt, of course, to brazenly go where angels fear and just deepen the animosity against them by the people. And that anathema must be reflected in every single constituency in the 2025 elections, including those along the East-West corridor. And right here on George Street, we are going to do our part.
Speaking in the Parliament during the second reading of the Property Tax Amendment Bill 2024,
we are going to do our part, people.
It said the bill intends to improve people's...
Continues to. MP Munilal mentioned about a person living on the edge. Today,
property tax rate in Trinidad and Tobago is 3% of the annual rental value of a property. Here are some of the Caribbean countries that base their property tax on annual rental value. Barbados. The annual rental value of a property is used to calculate the property tax in Barbados. The tax rate is 0.25% of the annual rent.
Let's go to the lines. I'll take it here on my phone. I'll take it here on my phone. Let's go to the lines. Pleasant good night.
Good night, this is Silver Fox here.
Yes, my friend. Go ahead.
We want to know in Tobago, it's Trinidad and Tobago. If Trinidad feeling pain, we have to feel the pain too. And we want to know what Fally is doing, what step he's taking against his property tax, if he's taking any. We want to know. Because the young people is asking me, the Silver Fox, if they had to pay rent for their own property that their mother hand down, their father hand down, they get by buying. So they have to live paying a rent. We want to know that in Tobago. And I want to say this. The boy I have here, my boy, he is a popular figure in Tobago. He is so popular that he could win election if he go for it. And I'm telling Fally, you stand up with us, the people in Tobago, and we will stand up with you. We will stand up with you, and he will stand up with you and bring real young people on board for the next election. And we know you're going to win it once we come on board with you. Because you're calling for young people, and you have somebody who could influence young people. Don't throw it away. Don't spoil it. If you spoil it, you spoil yourself. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And the caller from Tobago is correct. We are in this bizarre, unholy, unwholesome, and extremely what I consider to be perforated or holy, H-O-L-E are talking about it. Holy, whole, both together that will sink. Under normal circumstance, or put in water will sink if we do not, of course, close the holes. So he is right. And Tobago has 2 seats. And the PNM and Rowley has already recognized that is why he is so desperate and making all kinds of reverse psychology statement that is of null and void and of no effect. It is merely pie in the sky, believing that somehow people will tolerate his nonsense. Get thee hence, Satan. Let's look at the situation in the rest of the Caribbean as far as property tax is concerned. And I want you to note, none of them go to 1%, nor 2%, nor 3%. All of them is below 1%, either 0.5, 0.8, etc. for the highest. Only in Trinidad, Rowley and they boasting that they have, of course, and I'm going to prove it to you. Because Rowley said that they just got $8 billion into the coffers without doing anything for it. And he so bold-faced and so, I suppose, cursed. Cursed the people, he's cursed. Because it is normal for them to try to hide and to get artificially claim success where they never made any contribution. Well, for the first time, he agreed that the war between Ukraine and Russia created higher oil prices, at least in the immediate and in the nascent stage of the war, over a year now, that pushed oil prices up. And so he confessed that the war in Ukraine was under serendipity by chance, gave Trinidad and Tobago an additional $8 billion. And yet still, he has not been able to utilize it and still demanding, of course, property tax. Because he has not been able to create any augmentation, any industry to produce in such a way so as to, of course, generate foreign exchange and so generate employment, more employment opportunity, instead, of course, of engaging, of course, in all kinds of trickery and chicanery to try to project an image that does not exist. These fellas will be taking coke, as far as I'm concerned. The two illusionary, and they seem to regularly hallucinate. Yeah, has to be cocaine they're taking.
Rental value. Dominica. The annual rental value of a property is used to calculate the property tax in Dominica. The tax rate is 0.5% of the annual rental value. Grenada. The annual rental value of a property is used to calculate the property tax in Grenada. The tax rate is 0.5% of the annual rental value. St. Lucia. The annual rental value of a property is used to calculate the property tax in St. Lucia. The tax rate is 0.5% of the annual rental value. St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The annual rental value of a property is used to calculate the property tax in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The tax rate is 0.5% of the annual rental value. Compared to other countries, the property tax rate in Trinidad and Tobago is relatively high. The average property tax rate in the world is around 1% of the annual rental value of a property.
1%
in Trinidad and Tobago, the property tax rate is 3% of the annual rental value of a property. This means that if you own a property that is worth $100,000, you will pay $3,000 in property taxes each year.
Have you lost your job, struggling to pay your bills, can't find enough money to support your family? Then have no fear. The PNM has plans to raise higher taxes. Yes, under the PNM there will be higher property taxes, higher online taxes, higher taxes for small businesses, higher personal taxes, higher taxes on anything and everything. PNM, the right choice for higher taxes.
Yes, indeed, people depend on PNM for more pain, in other words, more agony, more distress and more, of course, policies and programs that simply cannot be tested or cannot withstand the test of time and in the interest of Trinidad and Tobago.
But if the government truly listened to citizens, there would be no property tax. They would have come here today to repeal the Property Tax Act. No, they didn't do that. I want to remind the country that the member for Diego Martin West, now Prime Minister, then in opposition, in 2009, he was in the government, but on a different side of the government bench, if you recall, 2009, he voted against this said Property Tax Act. He said even if it were $100, because too many people were living on the edge. Today, the economy is much worse. More people are living on the edge under this government than ever before. So I asked today, well, what changed? Why did he change his mind when in 2009 he was totally against this? He was making passionate pleas about poor people and his constituents who couldn't afford to pay that. What changed his mind? In 2015, as I say, then opposition leader Rowley told the country that the property tax was something from the past and he would not implement it. He lied again to the population, and his government has begun and continues to implement that dreaded, dangerous piece of law. The UNC is standing up against, once more, against the property tax as a whole. We vow to continue the fight until the property tax is repealed in its entirety. Once again, we showed that the power of the people is stronger than the people in power. The government appears to be already losing this property tax fight with the voting public. Government has had to step back, and therefore the final blow to this tax is when you vote this government out of office. We will continue to fight on your behalf to completely repeal the property tax. We believe it is a vindictive, punitive tax. We believe it is discriminatory. We do not believe, as they are claiming, that it will bring revenue into the country for development, for local government. None of that will happen. We ran the country for 5 years. We did not introduce a single tax, not one tax. Not property tax, not any single tax. This government has brought in what is the tire tax, the online tax, you name them, so many taxes. Their only source of revenue is what? Tax, 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 and, as we heard last Friday, borrow, borrow, borrow in the billions.
I want to pause here a bit to, of course, focus on those individuals who believe the hogwash of Rowley. You see, they have now been, of course, relegated to the category of being puerile, childish. They appear to be infantile in their analysis and their support and argument to justify a tax that Rowley said that was the most dangerous. In fact, he said it was dreaded. It is important because their narrative is designed to attract the sycophants and those who are still in a state of denial that the Rowley administration has, of course, not just endangered, not just destroyed, not just rendered it, I'm talking about the PNM, extinct or in the verge of extinction. Can't believe it. So they will conform, even though their common sense will tell you, well, I say to you, who still are that stupid, that common sense seems not to be common among certain people. And I want to tell you that Rowley and they, not that they don't have common sense, but they are deliberate because they are criminals, they are miscreants, they are near the wells and wanted to get a free ride on the backs of the people's resources, the backs of the people's taxes, as they line their pockets of their friends and their families and themselves. and Balize house and will go home and sleep and say, I catch the fools, you sycophants and you dotish dunderheaded. Yes, I have to tell you that because it is about time that you understand that there is nothing to gain by staying the course with Rowley and they, except contributing to the destruction of Trinidad and Tobago economically, socially, criminally, and of course, the crime situation will not subside, will not dissipate anytime soon with people who, of course, have told us, and recently, quite apart from on top of the many that he told us before, the last one, of course, was take a tablet because crime is a public health issue. Take a tablet, go to find yourself in a drugstore, and when a fella point a gun at you, just take a tablet, and of course, everything will be hunky-dory. Those asses, and you have to be a more backside to, of course, believe that nonsense. Well, today, Rowley is talking something different again. He is saying now that the government will not tolerate, not that it is not deja vu, but the way how he is saying it at a turning ceremony, I think today or yesterday, trying, of course, to play tough, to play Teflon. But the underbelly shows how hollow, because none of their policies and programs related to crime and criminality has worked. None. None. Let's go straight to the lines. Pleasant good night. Welcome.
Yes, Lennox, I come back in again.
Yes.
You see this thing where you're talking about, he say crime is a health issue. It's not only he say that, Carrie come say too, is one voice, When one donkey brain, the next one brain too, right? Now, what I want to say is, I'm watching this thing with Haiti right now. And these set of donkey and corrupt ones in CARICOM, where they have one voice, the long run to be out of this whole thing is they're going to be asking for them Haitians to come in these countries here in the Caribbean. Well, they're in the CARICOM, right?
Yes.
So as CARICOM citizens, after they made that law where CARICOM citizens could move around freely in other countries and work and so and live, the chaos they create, right, is them went all about an international platform begging to help Haiti. Oh, they go send soldiers, they go send troops. He and the heavy voice Bajan woman, you hear, especially she could talk and talk with that voice. And it's only wind coming out. She don't really mean nothing, She could real talk and beg and lie, tricky all of them mafia, where there's a brotherhood. Go on, I'm begging all over to help Haiti. I'm not a soldier from she country or what Ralph Gonzalez. That's for them real poor and only living off of we here. Then when they beg in the United Nations, right? Kenya is who say they're going to send troops. I said I talk, bam, the man go out there, and as he leave, the Haitian was waiting for him. They say he's not to go back in. Everybody know the whole story. Who caused this whole problem is CARICOM. Now they're fighting, they're asking the US to help them to study what to do, but I know the aim is they're going to want them Haitians to come in, but I say let them go Barbados. Let them go Grenada. We don't have a problem here with all kind of migrants inside of here. Right? Let them go in them other countries. The countries don't have much people. We helping these people too much. Not the Haitians, but the rest of them will living off of we. According to Kamala, here's not an ATM machine. Right? We tired help, we cannot help no more. We're not able. I talk in plain and people should talk plain. Here it has one voice. People watch out as soon as they open their mouth and say
they want to help. Let them send them Grenada, St. Vincent, Barbados. All they hear in the least amount of property tax. Them just have to pay. Right? An oil-rich nation like this, we ain't supposed to be going through that. Not because we have, they go want to bleed we out. We're not paying. We're not paying 1 cent. They could drop it down to 1%. We're not paying. Okay, Lennox.
Yes, my dear. Thank you very much. And I want to say a splendid, because I had some concerns when you said that all of most of CURICOM are part and parcel of coming on board with respect, of course, to the looking at crime as a public health issue. And then, of course, you corrected yourself later down the road, because I was going to make the point that it's obvious that St. Vincent, Dominica, Barbados, even well, Jamaica didn't come to the symposium in Trinidad on the question of crime being a public health issue. But if I was them, if I was the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, if I'm the Prime Minister of Dominica, if I'm the Prime Minister of the other small island states, I would be, of course, saying, thank you at the same time, Rowley, for giving me, sponsoring and utilizing the stupid people of Trinidad money in order to accommodate me right here for a little holiday. And I don't mind being, of course, diplomatically correct by saying, I'm going to support you with your public health nonsense talk about crime. I could see that. It's obvious we put out all the money, and if it is that it's supposed to be a topic on public health pushed by Rowley, then those who participated and have not a cent to put out, the best they could do, the least they could do, is to ingratiate, and that's what it.
Hi, good night, Mr. Lennox.
Good night to you.
Hi, sir. I am a huge fan of your program. This is my first time calling in here.
Okay.
And I must say you are doing a great, terrific job. We love listening to you at night on the program here. But I must say I'll have to disagree with that caller. Our country is very, as you can see, in a mess right now. We need to focus on our country and our citizens. And Haiti is one country. I can understand that. But why are we to send our soldiers over there when we ourselves are in need of dire help? So I totally disagree with that caller. But anyway, Mr. Lennox, I hope you have a great night. I'm locked on and listening.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, I like to say I hold no brief, but she did not say that we should send. In fact, she said the opposite. So she said that we ought not to assist, let others do it. And those who are parasiting on us, as the smaller islands have done, as allowed and permitted by Rowley, in that taking our money, believing that we are fools, and spending it for his personal aggrandizement and political agenda, trying to say that somehow crime is connected to public health issues. And now he is saying something after we spent our money on crime being a public health issue. And mind you, he used these phantasmagorical, elaborate schemes, these shenanigans, these phantasmagorical concoctions manufactured for him to believe that he's fooling the people and that he's somehow some important person on the regional and international stage. Why am I saying that? Where is the additional proof? Well, the additional proof is when he went and collect. Now we know that the fella is from Diego Martin too, the person who invited him up and who he gave the highest national award. That professor in that university that gave him, of course, an honorary doctorate with an opportunity to meet Biden. Yes. So Rowley will use that to impress on us that he is so important. We know he's a fake. We know he is hollow. We know that he's a deception. And we know that all of that is mere grandstanding, pie in the sky, and he only had fallen in the face as, of course, his true essence, his true sense, his true character, his true personality is exposed and is the devil incarnated or personified in Rowley. Total numbskull, a total miscreant, a total nincompoop, a total obtuse, a total inane, and should be out of office and ought not to have been there. And we must blame the PNM for imposing such a dastard individual on us. A total narcissist of a hybrid nature, because he's both a narcissist and an egotist, as well as, of course, a dictator. And we know them. So the two callers are correct in the sense that utilizing our money to try to, of course, hoodwink us from outside, but that too failed. And his recent to deflect attention again by calling internal elections of party groups and constituency executives will also fail, as we are steadfast. Get us out of office, call the elections now, and that is all that will suffice.
Have no clue, they have no vision. We're bringing
yes, indeed.
We need to help revenue streams apart from their normal modus operandi. Tax, and borrow. We want to make it very clear. Again, I close as I started, whether it's 1%, 2%, 3%, 5%, whatever percentage is too much. The issue is not just about the rate with this Property Tax Act. The issue is about the method of valuation, the discrepancies, the inconsistencies. Two people living side by side and get two different valuations. Today, MP Munilal mentioned about a person living in San Fernando in a small wooden house. I'm sure it's a comfortable home. And he was assessed at, what, $96,000. Then you get people with rental values as versus the ARV, the annual rental value. In one case, a property is a rental property, another case is property owned, and yet they get different assessments. So everything is wrong about this tax. Now is not the time. People are suffering hardships. The economy is worse now than it was when Rowley complained in 2009. Again, we reiterate, we did not support this, and we want to make it very clear, we will not support the Property Tax Act, and we will repeal it when we get back into government. Thank you very much for your time.
The Caribbean country with the highest percentage of annual rental value.
Let's go, of course. I'll use my phone. I'll not see it coming up, so let's go there. And of course, this will be the last call. It's time to, of course, make our exit. But I'm going to take this call. Good night.
Yes, Lennox Silver Fox here.
Oh, yes.
Lennox, Rowley will not take Haitian people here. The color of their skin. When Rowley was in Bishop High School with my aunt, Rowley never used to lie with black color people. You know, it's the Koreans and them white color people Rowley used to lie with. Right? So he will never take these people because he supposed to be a black man. And look how we treating black people. We have the worst set of treatment in the world. And Rowley wouldn't get nightmare, you know, because Satan don't want nothing to do with it. Thank you.
I hear you, my friend. I hear you. Of course, people, we have come to the end of the night. Let's just hear once again for posterity and as a last dose of reality what is happening in the rest of the Caribbean and those islands that, of course, came here, eat, drink, and frolic at Trinidad and Tobago's taxpayers' expense. And Lord knows we could do with that money, give all the children in the secondary and primary schools as they come in laptops We could also, of course, continue the feed-in program until, of course, the substantive end of the term, but that is not happening. Let's see what is happening in the rest of the Caribbean, so you have an appreciation. So you could say tomorrow morning that everywhere you go in the Caribbean and the world, that tax is, if it has to be implemented, is, of course, implemented with less than 1% of the annual rental value of a property. But as Kamala Prasad-Bissessar said, repeal it and revert to the land and building taxes. Nothing more, nothing less.
Of property tax is Trinidad and Tobago. The property tax rate in Trinidad and Tobago is 3% of the annual rental value of a property. Here are some of the Caribbean countries that base their property tax on annual rental value. Barbados. The annual rental value of a property is used to calculate the property tax in Barbados. The tax rate is 0.25% of the annual rental value. Dominica. The annual rental value of a property is used to calculate the property tax in Dominica. The tax rate is 0.5% of the annual rental value. Grenada. The annual rental value of a property is used to calculate the property tax in Grenada. The tax rate is 0.5% of the annual rental value. St. Lucia. The annual rental value of a property is used to calculate the property tax in St. Lucia. The tax rate is 0.5% of the annual rental value. St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The annual rental value of a property is used to calculate the property tax in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The tax rate is 0.5% of the annual rental value. Compared to other countries, the property tax rate in Trinidad and Tobago is relatively high. The average property tax rate in the world is around 1% of the annual rental value of a property.
So there you have it, people, of course. There you have it. Have a wonderful rest of the night. God bless. And, of course, we will continue, of course, to do what we have to do. But before we leave, of course, we must, of course, have some kind of musical representation.
It's your shame to lie down, so I prepare for them a burial ground. Rowley, my first grave for he, with joy in my heart.
People, of course, don't forget that tomorrow morning, the ground report, Andy, Mikey, and myself, of course. Andy will be out shortly. Of course, from 6 to 9. And, of course, don't forget we return tomorrow night on the corridor transformation, where a lot of activities will be taking place. Have a wonderful rest of the night. Time is now 18 minutes past 10 o'clock. Thank you for, of course, staying up with me. But we'll be back on the beat tomorrow morning for 6 o'clock. Bye-bye.
Will prepare his body. Make sure he have a sardonic grin on his face. That's all he does do. That man is a waste. Bury in the back of my cemetery. Turn he upside down. He face I can see. Look for the strongest grave digger to cover he. Not with the hand, put good fork on he. Gypsy, political grasshopper. I may feel little pity cause he's my brother. But like Tarzan, he's swinging from vine to vine. It's time I help you to make up your mind. Fitzgerald, Rasta City. I know they go glad to get the body. Resi on the tam dump for all to see. Drink 2 beers and watch Coco get happy. One we sacrifice, yet every week she have new weave, man, she living nice. You and the cold pot man resemblance strong. A bum seated bread and you like a tongue. It's not for people like you and me. It is for all them politicians, and I dig in their grave, no for of them dead, just shame to lie down. So I prepare for them a burial ground.
Rowley, a dog. Low high the crime rate is in the country now, boy. Rowley, a dog. Low high the crime rate is in the country now, boy. Rowley, a dog. Low high the crime rate is in the country now, boy. Forest, come down, come down. Inboot, come down, come down. UNC, in tongue, in tongue, in tongue, in tongue, in tongue. I don't want to leave you on top the horse. I need you to come down here for me now. You're claiming E&M them is boss, but look how high the crime rate is now. P&M feel the bright. They got win election tonight. Come down from there, Rowley. Come down from there, Rowley. Take me to pay that vibe. Champa, go to them, they not nice. Come down from there, Rowley. Come down from there. I just want to warn you before the mixing would concern you. They went like keto and one voodoo for the people and them to vote you. On the IG post you look nice. 1 million followers, 1 million likes. In the grocery the food price high. Yeah, we 2% and feed me with line. That man can mama guy. You feel it too bright. Yeah, we need election tonight. Come down from there, Rowley. Come down from there, Rowley. Take me to pay that vice. Calling in with them, they not nice. Come down from there, Rowley. Come down from there. Hands are where you come down. You're going on the beat up to mama guy, poor people. Good, you get wet down. Champa always in a zest. Least for development in a mess. Come and give the government credit, can arrest. Remember when you buy all the wig and dress? Comments are millions, if you check. Tell the people them how you get it. P&M government them on it. Every minute government them on it. Suffer poor people in pandemic. P&M government.
Do you have a budding business, a non-governmental organization, a community event, or a public interest matter to share with the public? Promote and advertise with the Corridor Transformation ad segment. The rates are affordable and tailored to meet your needs. Call us now. Just ask for Annie at 336-6594. You will be glad you did. Once again, call Annie for all your advertising and promotion needs at 336-6594 on the Corridor Transformation. Do you have a budding business, a non-governmental organization, a community event, or a public interest matter to share with the public? Promote and advertise with the Corridor Transformation ad segment. The rates are affordable and tailored to meet your needs. Call us now. Just ask for Annie at 336